And Instagram. We're going to be sharing something here on our screen. Good morning, everybody. Immigration, May 11th, 2021. We're doing a live immigration question and answer period here. The way it works, if you're new to this, you come onto our platforms, you put in your questions in the comment box, and we will answer your questions live. We're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. And a small legal disclaimer, the immigration advice that we do give you is based on the information at that time when you give us. At certain points, if there's more complicated cases, you'd have to contact us through our website for us to discuss in detail. Let me see if I can share my screen here. I'm not very good at this stuff. Good morning. Yes, Mr. Bad Boy. One important point to note to everybody is that we are over 7,309 applicants already full with the new pathway for PR, temporary foreign workers inside of Canada, which is the essential non-healthcare. So out of 30,000, we're at 7,309. I'm going to see if I can share the screen in some way where you can see what's happening. Hold on, no, that doesn't work. No, that didn't work either, folks. Yeah, I better learn my IT skills before I try to do anything fancy on this system. But right now, the most important part, and what some of you have asked us, is whether if you gain the work experience as an international student while studying in an essential occupation, let's say non-healthcare, would that count towards the 1 year? So many immigration companies are saying yes, that counts as the work experience because the government hasn't defined whether it's eligible or not. We technically cannot advise you to apply in those circumstances. Why? It's because we're not 100% sure, right? We cannot advise you on that because there's no clarity on the government. If you were working last year as an essential non-healthcare occupation and you gained that work experience as a full-time student, are you eligible right now to apply as a foreign worker in the essential stream? What we suggest with many is that to check with IRCC to get to receive a confirmation from them in writing and then apply with that confirmation. So how we do it as immigration consultants and legal advisors is we have a special mailbox with IRCC like everybody does. It's not ours specifically. And we will send them a question and they will respond anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. If we have that, we can attach that to your application and submit it. That way we know 100% it would be accepted. Otherwise, you can try, no problem, applying with foreign work experience as an international student who's graduated. But again, there's a small risk, maybe 50-50. We as legal representatives, basically licensed to give you immigration advice, cannot tell you 100% would work unless we have something in writing from the government. So we want to clarify that. We have a question, Umang Patel, 26. I'm working at Amazon Fulfillment Center and I'm considered as essential category, so I can apply for essential worker. Yes, if you meet all the eligibility, right? So you need the 1 year work experience, at least in that one knock code. You could be working in any other occupation right now, but you do need that 1 year work experience. You need your IELTS or CELPIP or the French exams like TEF and TCF, and you will be, as long as the program is open, and it seems to be open right now. As I said, there's a little bit less than 23,000 applicants open to be applied. You can apply. Make sure you have all your documents in place and make sure your description, your job description on your employment reference letter matches 100% that NOC code. NOC code is a National Occupation Classification System. So welcome to everybody. Bon dia, Gabriela. The way it works is post your question on our Instagram comment section. We'd be happy to answer all your questions. We're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. So make sure you take advantage of this because Otherwise, we're back in our offices charging you money, right? This is the only time you can get us, and we're free, and we're happy to answer your questions. Another very important point, or here's another question on our Instagram. So we're live here on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So sometimes I'll read out the questions that are out in the other platforms. So on Instagram, it says, so ahone.s says, I applied for the TR to PR pathway on Wednesday and got laid off on Friday. Would that affect my application? Potentially, yes, Ahone. What happens is that you should be working at the time of application, and there's a high likelihood they will check during the PR process whether you're still working or not. So that could be a huge risk for you. We always tell all our clients that you need to be working throughout. Don't get laid off, don't quit. If you switch jobs, make sure there's no gap. This is a very new program. Obviously, it's the first time it's ever been introduced, but one of the criteria is to be working, right? The government may come and change that, but I doubt it. So the chances of a refusal later are quite high, Ahone. But for the time being, try to find another job to switch quickly, okay? I would suggest that would be your best bet right now to be able to make sure that your PR application is not won't face any problems. Okay, so we have another question on our Instagram, which I'm going to read out for the YouTube members and Facebook. R Gilbert official 1 says, I will full finish my university at the end of May. Should I apply too? So R Gilbert, if you either have French, like French, so you can take the French exam, or you're in one of the foreign worker streams, essential workers, then yes, you could potentially apply. You need your graduation letter. You should have applied for your postgraduate work permit, even though you don't need the document in your hand. And you should be working, right? So if you're planning to apply under the international student stream, English applicant, then that's already closed. It was closed last Friday at noon. But if you are eligible for the other streams, no problem. You just need to meet all the document requirements, and everything is on the website. So we just have some other questions on Instagram. Our Instagram users are always more active. So Parisa KHT is asking, I applied under the international graduate student, and after that I realized the IMM 5669 from posted empty. So you think this can be a problem? Potentially, yeah. I mean, it really depends if you uploaded it empty or not. So they could send back your document. It really depends on the officers and how flexible they are. For example, when we do other types of applications, they're not flexible at all. But it depends on the policy of the government. If they are a little bit more flexible, they may send back the documents and tell you that please fill it out because this is missing. If the majority of your documents are correct, like you have all your eligibility documents, they're going to check that. All the rest of the forms, they may come back to you and say, this is missing, please complete it. They may also come back and just tell you that, unfortunately, you didn't complete everything, you're ineligible. However, it depends on the officer and the policy of the government. Nobody knows. This is a brand new immigration program, right? If this was for your PR or citizenship under another program, I'd say they're going to send it back to you and be like, this is incomplete, reapply. But under this program, nobody's ever applied before. This is a brand new program, so we don't know how much flexibility there is. Obviously, it's always good to have a perfect application when you're submitting. That is obviously the best advice I can give you. But at this point, you're at their mercy. So you just need to wait, have the form ready, and make sure you keep your eligibility until the time the PR is processed. So I hope that they are not going to create any problems for you. Okay. So Izore is asking, my boyfriend is from US. He's living with me in Canada. Can I get a work permit for him? Well, technically, Izore, you cannot get one for a boyfriend or girlfriend, but you could get one for a common law. Okay, so that means if you're not married, but you've been living together for 1 year continuously, he would be eligible to apply for open spousal. However, I'm assuming you are a permanent resident or citizen, right? If you are, then yes. And if you're an international student, that could also work, or an international worker. However, the 1 year continuous is very important. This means that without any gaps for 12 months, you need to prove to the immigration officer that you have been living together in order for him to be eligible for an open spousal work permit. And you'll need lease agreements, joint bank accounts. Your government ID should have the same address. If he's a US citizen and he's living with you, you need some kind of proof. So it is possible, but you need to meet the eligibility yourself and the documents to prove the 1 year. Okay, so I hope that's answered that question. Umang Patel 26 is asking another question. Does working at a restaurant as a cashier considered essential stream? Yes, cashiers anywhere, no matter where, would be considered essential non-healthcare. So that program is still open. There's approximately a little bit less than 23,000 seats available as of May 11th, 2021, 9 a.m. That could change anytime, obviously. Even if she's working part-time and completed 15, 60 hours. Yes, so you need to make sure that your hours are completed. And the 1,560 minus the vacation pay, but depending on the province you're in, right? So if like say, if it's your wife, for example, who's done that and she meets the rest of the eligibility, yes, cashier is eligible. It's one of the occupations considered essential non-healthcare. Gulmehak Singh 31, I hope I pronounced that correct. Apologies if not. IRCC platform granted me CRS points, so he's talking about Express Entry for CEC, Canadian Experience class, but I have 11 months of experience and right now I'm stuck in India. Should I accept the ITA? So what's going to happen if you don't really have the 12 months and they will review it, they will just refuse it. They will say you're not eligible and they'll refuse it. That's all that's going to happen, right? Canadian Experience class can be applicants from outside of Canada. You don't need to be inside of Canada for the Express Entry Canadian Experience class, but you do need the 12 months less vacation pay work experience. So if you only have 11 months and the system has calculated it incorrectly for whatever reason, and you received an ITA, you have two options. You can apply and you'll get refused, or you just refuse or cancel the ITA and you'd retry, right? So you adjust your profile to make sure it's correct, and hopefully you'll get an ITA in the next round. But you can be outside of Canada, so you don't need to worry. You can be outside of Canada. So hello everybody, whoever's joined us now, you can ask your questions on the comment section. We're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m., 5 p.m. Just put it in the comment section. We'll answer your questions live. Hello, Mr. Montasseri, Izor, thank you. So Gulmehak Singh 31 is asking a follow-up question. Apart from CEC, which means the Canadian Experience class for Express Entry, I received ONIP certificate under FSW Human Capital. Should I receive ITA under PMP category? If it's under, so besides the CEC, because you don't have the 1 year experience, so you can't do anything with that. But if you meet the conditions on the nomination for the OINP, which is the Ontario PNP, yes, you can take advantage of that. Because what will happen is they typically want specific occupations who may have specific work experience. So if you're in that system, then yes, and you meet the conditions of their invitation letter, then accept that, because you don't have the 1 year work experience. So CEC will tell you that you're ineligible and refuse that application. So if you do have the Ontario PNP provincial nominee program nomination or invitation under your Express Entry profile account, then yes, accept it. Just make sure that you do meet the criteria, right? That occupation they've invited you for, the experience that you have, It doesn't have to be Canadian because they're looking just specifically for people with that occupation. But make sure you read the invitation criteria, right? That's very important. So as long as you meet that criteria, you have a chance. If you don't, then again, that could be a dead end for you. But we'd have to see that letter. Sri Sunny, hello. Yes, hello everybody. I applied under international graduate stream. Good for you. Great. I hope you guys will become PRs. Everybody, all the ladies, all the men, everybody who's here in Canada. We'd be happy to have more newcomers, more permanent residents helping each other out. I myself immigrated here a long time ago, but again, we're all immigrants here. Planet Tisha says, Plain Tisha, is that right? Are you hiring? No, not at the moment, unfortunately. In the future, we may, but right now we are not hiring full time. Sorry about that. So Sri Sahid says, I've done some mistakes. How can I submit to IRCC? It depends on your mistakes. If they're slight mistakes, not serious, you can send them a web form on the IRCC portal. But if it's serious and it will affect your eligibility, then that could be a serious issue. So again, everybody on Facebook and YouTube, I'm just reading out our questions on Instagram and just answering them live. You can also post a question on your comments box wherever you're connecting through, and we're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time, North America. Here we have another one. Let's see. Gulmehak Singh. I already accepted ONIP, but the IRCC gave me extra points for CEC experience. Okay, so that basically, you have your own answer there. If you calculate the points, so do this, reduce the points for the CEC and check if you still have enough points for the OINP invitation. If you don't, then don't accept it because you're going to waste money. You're going to give the money and then they're going to calculate your points and be like, oh, you didn't even have enough points to be invited. So they're just going to be like, you're ineligible. They're going to refuse you. Okay. My score right now is 1,093, but it should be 1,043 as I don't have Canadian experience. So this is what you have to do. So you calculated incorrectly. The way it works is that you actually had 493, right? I believe so. 600, yeah, 600, 493 compared to 443. Okay, that's how it works. That means the 600 points you receive is for the Ontario PNP. Okay, so based on the last draw of the Ontario PNP that they've issued the invitation, they have a minimum threshold like 440, 400. If you meet that even without the Canadian work experience, you could be eligible, right? But if you don't, then don't accept it. Okay, so that's how it would work. And plus, even if you didn't have Canadian work experience, with 443, you should still be selected without Canadian work experience. Okay, so it seems like you need to do some recalculations, a little bit of some issues with your profile. I don't have access to your profile, but that's how it works. So don't look at the 1,000, look at the without the Ontario PNP certificate, which gave you the extra 600 points. How many points did you have with Canadian workers and without? And I believe it should be 443 versus 493, if that's correct. And then based on that, compare to the Ontario Provincial Nominee Program minimum threshold and see, even if they don't give you the points, will you still have met the criteria to be selected or invited? If yes, go ahead and apply. If no, then there's no point of wasting money, right? So Gulme Haq Singh 31, you should just message IRCC. Should I just message IRCC about this? IRCC meaning Immigration, Refugee, Citizenship Canada. Yes, if it's not a serious mistake, just send them a web form. So go IRCC web form on Google, go through the process, make sure you put in your receipt, maybe an attachment when you applied, all your details, your UCI number, which is the unique client identification number. Plain Tisha, what if the person was not eligible and applied in error? Well, they'll be just sent back. They'll just say you're not eligible and they'll send it back to you. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. So again, everybody, if you have any questions on immigration, please post it in the comment section. We're live on 3 platforms right now, so I'm keeping track of the Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And here we are answering all your questions. Take advantage of it. I see there's only 2 or 3 users who are very active and taking advantage of the situation, which is great because that's why we're here. Sri Sahid says, I submitted mistakes in form IMM 008 under international graduate stream. It depends how serious your mistakes were. If it's like misrepresentation, then it's a serious issue. If it's just a slight thing, they may come back and clarify with you. Or you can send a web form and clarify. If it's not a serious mistake, we don't know what the mistake is, so at least I don't. So you'd have to decide for TR to PR pathway. Yeah, surname and family name exchanged. It's fine. I don't think because of that they will refuse. Okay, send them an IRCC web form. Tell them that there's a mix-up in that form. Okay, will it be a problem? Hopefully, no. It doesn't seem like a serious problem. Hello, Carolina. We'll see you later today, 5 p.m. So today, everybody, at 5 p.m., we're gonna have my colleague join us who speaks Spanish and is our education manager, and she's going to answer all of your questions regarding education, the new PR path. What happens if you missed the opportunity to apply under the international student stream? That's what we're going to discuss. So again, thanks for everybody for joining us. Today was pretty quiet, which is good and bad, depending. And we will be back again 5 p.m. today, Standard Eastern Time, to answer all your questions. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're looking at going live on TikTok in the future, and we're even looking at Vimeo. I think that's how you say it. Thanks, everybody. And again, there will be more opportunities for international graduates, temporary foreign workers to apply this year. We believe that the government still has a huge gap of 100,000 that they need to fill. So make sure you get your express entry profiles ready. Make sure you get your Canadian work experience. Make sure you get your language exam scores, whether it's French or English. It's very important. We believe there will be more aggressive programs coming in, more aggressive point selection, so the express entry points may drop further, and other TR to PR pathways. So be ready even if you've missed the opportunity. Okay, if you have any questions, Ingwe Canada, look us up on Google. You have our website info, message us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and on Google My Business listing page. Thank you again, everybody. We'll see you today, 5 p.m. again, live with my colleague. This time we're going to have a 2-person session answering your questions. Take care, everybody. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Bye-bye now.